If your agility training consists of endless footwork and ladder drills, then you're probably missing out on a lot of factors that'll make you faster and more agile. So stick around because today that's all we're going to be talking about. Welcome back, recruits, to the 7th Iron Strong session. I'm Coach Caden, the owner of Iron Strong Training. I've been coaching and training since I got out of high school, and I've had the pleasure of training everybody from youth to pro athletes to everyday individuals. I've learned and taught all about exercise at the university level. In this series, I'm going to be sharing as much of my knowledge and experience with you as possible. We're going over all kinds of fitness goals, the science behind them, and how to train for them. Today, we're going to cover some factors that go into agility and change of direction training, and some considerations and guidelines for agility and change of direction. First off, the difference between change of direction and agility. Change of direction is your ability to change directions, either through gradual turns or rapid deceleration and reacceleration. It's the fundamental ability to resist inertia and redirect into a new path. Change of direction drills often use pre-planned patterns that you know ahead of time before you start the drill. This way, it's not as reactive and you know exactly what to be prepared for. Agility, on the other hand, utilizes this change of direction ability in response to a stimulus. It's a lot more reactive. It involves your cognitive ability to respond and process information and make decisions quickly. Therefore, agility drills differentiate from change of direction drills by having some sort of reactive stimulus to them. Either a coach pointing and yelling a direction for you to go, or yelling out a different color cone for you to run to, or some other type of verbal or visual command. Both agility and change of direction utilize something called proprioception. This is your awareness of your body and movement in space and position. It's another kind of sense outside of the 5 we learn in school, and it's more about the exactness of how you're moving and the control and awareness of that movement. Larger and heavier athletes tend to have a tougher time changing directions, and this is because they're carrying a lot more momentum and therefore have to overcome a lot more inertia once they get going. Longer athletes in particular have worse leverage on their movements. This is why keeping a low center of gravity while trying to change directions gives you better leverage to be faster through that movement. Some other types of training can also help improve change of direction, like improving the quality of your leg muscles through strength and power training, or improving the strength to mass ratio of your body, solving the issue for the larger, longer athletes earlier, since you would have more of your body working for you than against you. And of course, plyometrics can also help a lot when it comes to change of direction and agility. Reactive plyometrics for agility, standard plyometrics for change of direction, because the stretch shortening cycle that we've talked about several times in these videos also plays a huge role in going into and out of change of direction. That's just about it for our scientific background for this video. There's a lot of research out there that shows performance outcomes, but not about the specific adaptations that go into change of direction and agility. But there is still evolving research, so we'll keep you updated as time goes on. Moving on to the practical piece. When it comes to selecting your drills for agility or change of direction, you need to consider specificity. The specific drills that you do gives your body a specific memory of doing those movements and patterns, along with adapting to those specific angles and movements, which is very specific to the drills that you do. It's a common saying amongst coaches when it comes to agility training that what you train for is what you get. So if your sport or specific training goal requires a lot of lateral movement, then you should be training a lot of lateral movement drills. If your sport or training goal involves a lot of cuts at short angles, then you should be training those cuts and those angles. What you put into your agility training will be very specific to what you get out of it. I know it sounds like I'm hammering the same idea again, but this is very, very important if you want to improve in this specific part of fitness. Of course, this doesn't mean that you do exactly what the sport or goal requires you to do. You can always break those down further into its simplest concepts, as we're about to see with the ordering of our exercises. When we order our drills for a training session, we want to start with the simplest or at least lowest intensity drill first, and then progressively move down into the most complex or highest intensity drill. You may note this is exactly how we talked about it with our speed training video, because the simple to complex ordering is very, very effective. How I specifically program for my agility training sessions involves taking the most complex movement or the most specific movement that I want to accomplish, and then breaking it down into its fundamental aspects and starting there and working on those aspects until I get to the full version of that drill. And if there are multiple aspects to work on, then you work on the simplest concepts of those aspects before going into the full version of them. For example, if somebody is training for lateral movement and we're doing a lateral shuffle drill, and that is the most complex we're getting, then you might have them get used to the lean, the small parts of the shuffles, the step and footwork first before going straight into the shuffle. When trying to learn new drills and movements, training less than your max speed for that drill is a very solid idea. The NSCA talks about training new skills at 60 to 80% of your max intensity. I personally don't think you'll have what your max intensity is or max speed for every specific drill. So it's more important to think about the mindset going into it, that you're not going to be going as hard and fast into that drill as you possibly can. You're trying to work on the technique and the movement first. Then as you learn and master these skills, you can train at maximum or near maximum intensity to optimize the speed of these drills and movements. When it comes to the volume or number of drills that you're doing each session, the recommendation is to be around 5 drills, give or take, depending on your schedule and needs. If you're doing a lot of complex, high intensity drills in a session, then you probably won't have as many drills to do, at least from my personal recommendation. The NSCA recommends 5 to 10 reps per drill for novice athletes, with 5 to 25 reps per drill for more advanced athletes. Again, this can be raised or lowered depending on your needs, experience level, and what you can recover from. Oftentimes, training agility and change of direction at max intensities with a lot of volume all the time can lead to a higher risk of injury, and therefore we need to be a little bit more careful when we program for it. For rest periods, we usually think about work to rest ratio, so the time you spent working to the time you spend resting. And we usually think that 1:4 to 1:6 is adequate for full recovery. For example, if a drill lasts 5 seconds, then you will be resting somewhere between 20 seconds to 30 seconds. However, this ratio can go all the way up to 1 to 20 if you have more high intense and complex drills and are exhausting you and you have not recovered yet. I cannot stress this enough, but when you're doing skill work, you probably don't want to be out of breath and exhausted going into your next rep. This is not conditioning. Conditioning is something else. You are trying to get better at a skill here, and you need to be able to give that skill all of your focus and energy. Finally, for frequency, the general rule is to train this 2 to 3 times per week, adjusting depending on your schedule and experience level and what you're able to recover from. Pretty common theme from this video. Complex, high intensity, max speed agility and change of direction training requires more time to recover from in between than sub-max simple agility training drills. Be sure to keep track of how your body's feeling in between. Be honest with your coach or yourself for how you're feeling, and go from there. Thanks for watching. Your viewership is very much appreciated and the support you give us. If you would like to support the channel even further, definitely leave a like and subscribe to join the Iron Strong Army. If you have any questions or want to be part of the community, then leave a comment below or leave any ideas for future videos. I love this stuff. I love to talk about it. I love the sound of my own voice, which is why I talk to a camera in an empty gym all the time. And until next time, I'm Coach Caden, and remember, forge your own destiny.